All right. It is September 17th, week 3 of this group coaching support for women who've had abortions. And I am coming off a really incredible trip to Dallas where I got to spend time with almost 500 other coaches and mentors and people who were exactly where I am and people who were ahead of where I am and people who were just getting started. And I feel so much new fire and so much new excitement and motivation. And of course, I had all these aha moments. And then I came home and started doubting myself and questioning everything and losing my fire. But I am consciously choosing to keep that fire alive and to stay in the place of belief that I was in when I was at the event. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, whether you've been to an event and felt super amazing, or you've listened to a podcast or watched a show or read a book where you were just like everything changed for you. And then you step back into your life after the podcast or after the book or after the event, and you're like, wait a second, how could I have felt so amazing then? And now I'm like questioning everything again. And it's just habit and routine, right? So I had all this fire and energy newly infused into me. My cup was very full. And then I came home and settled back into my routine with my kids and my cleaning the house and cooking and all the things. And so it just takes practice. And this is actually really relevant to our topic today, which is believing you made the right choice. And so today's topic is, it's for all women who've had an abortion, but it's really an introduction for women who are wondering if they made the right choice. That's mostly who I'm going to speak to. But also speaking to the women who know, the women like me, right? So I knew I made the right choice, but I wanted to keep proving that to myself. There was moments where I was questioning, and I wanted to keep proving to myself, keep finding information and validation and reasons that I had made the right choice. And so when I felt sad or felt some guilt or shame, or when I felt things that I didn't want to feel, it was a very quick opportunity for me to question myself and say, did I make the right choice? What if I didn't make the right choice? So I wasn't in full on regret and never really wished I could go back and change it. But I know that many women are in that place. And whether you are like me and you just really want to make it mean something, you really want to keep validating in your life that you made the right choice, or you are in full-on regret and you're wishing you had done something different. What I want to talk to you about today is believing that you made the right choice, choosing to believe that you made the right choice. Because the truth is, there is no right choice. So start with that, right? There is no right choice. There's just choices along the way. It's like, and this may feel crazy to make this example, but it's like when you go out to dinner and you look at the menu and you kind of can't decide, and then you finally decide, and then the meals come to you and you're looking at what someone else at the table ordered and you're thinking, I wish I had ordered that, right? You're like, you start questioning, and then you don't enjoy your food as much as you would have when you decided to order it, because you're thinking like, well, I could be eating that, and that looks so much better. And so you can choose to think, I ordered the perfect thing for me. And you can choose to think, there's no right choice. A burger isn't better than a salad, right? It's not like everyone's supposed to choose burger. Everyone's supposed to choose a salad. It's just like, what was the right choice for me? And how can I enjoy this meal that I have whether I wished I ordered the burger or not, right? And so it's all made up. There's no right choice. There's no one reason we should or should not abort. There's no one reason we should or should not have children in the first place. The only thing that's right is what you choose to believe is right. So to start to wrap your head around the idea that this is all made up, this is all, start questioning why did I believe, what are my beliefs about abortion in general, and where do they come from, and who made them up, and what can I create and believe instead that will get me where I want to go? Because you can choose to believe anything you want, and no one can change that for you. No one can get inside your head and make you think something you don't want to think. And so you get to decide, even if you're in a place of regret, you get to decide, I maybe do wish I'd had that baby, but I can't go back. So I'm going to decide to be okay with my regret. I'm going to decide to keep moving forward and live in honor of that baby instead of living in that place of regret, living in that place that just feels crummy. And so the way we know whether we're believing something in alignment with where we want to go, in authenticity to who we are, in our truth, in the best interest of us, the way we know is how we feel. So if I believe I shouldn't have had an abortion, and I feel, we'll just go with guilt, then I know that I'm out of alignment with where's the place I'm going to get to that's going to fuel me beyond the stuckness, beyond the yuckiness. If it feels heavy, then it's not getting you where you want to go. It's not serving you. Now, I can still feel regret, but think something like, I made the best choice I could have with the tools that I had at that time. I might now wish I could have made a different decision based on having different tools. But if I start to believe I made the best choice I could have with the tools that I had, then I can start to believe that even though I don't like it, it was what was meant to be. And it feels lighter. Can you feel the difference between I wish I'd never had my abortion and I made the best choice that I could have with the tools that I had? You can feel the difference in your body. And these are just my words, and I'm just guessing. And the value of actually coaching someone is that you can actually work with their words and their feelings. And so it's a little harder when I'm just talking to no one and sort of guessing what you're all thinking. But the idea is start to play with your words, to believe things you want to believe. So maybe ultimately you want to believe I made the right choice. Right now you're thinking I made a terrible choice. So how do you get from I made a terrible choice to I made the right choice? Well, in my speak, in my language, in my teachings, there's a whole bunch of steps along the way. There's a whole bunch of steps between I made a terrible choice and I made the right choice. And we call those ladder thoughts. So ladder thoughts go from feeling like, hi, Morgan, from feeling that feeling of terrible to feeling that feeling of lightness, of relief. And so what you can do is you can start to ask yourself, what do I believe now? What do I want to believe ultimately? And what are all the steps that I'm going to have to practice thinking along the way? and just play with it. Like, be willing to just play with it and experiment and think a thought and ask yourself, how did that feel? And remind yourself that no one else is in charge of your beliefs. You get to think anything you want in your head. And based on how it makes you feel is how you know whether or not you're in alignment with where you want to go. You're on the right track, or you're just choosing to stay stuck. And you might choose to stay stuck and be really empowered by that, and that's fine. But that's probably not that's not the work I do. I work with women who want to get to the top of that ladder, right? They don't want to feel like they made a terrible choice the rest of their life. And so how do they get from here to there? And so really start playing with your own ladder thoughts. What might I have to believe to get away from I made a terrible choice? And an example might be, and I could have written this all down, but an example might be you start with I made a terrible choice, and then you move to other women are allowed to make that choice, but not me. Or you move to abortion is right for some people, but you're still thinking, but maybe not for me. And it's just like, it feels a little better than I made a terrible choice, but not totally better. And when that starts to feel really true for you, that it's okay that some people chose abortion, then you can maybe move to the next ladder thought, which maybe is, someday I will believe I made the right choice. I don't believe it now, but someday I will believe I made the right choice. So then you're opening these doors to like, well, how am I going to get there? Who am I going to ask for help? What am I going to start believing? And then your next ladder thought might be, I might have made the right choice. And then you start looking for evidence that maybe you did make the right choice. And then you just keep working your way up the ladder until you get to the place of, I believe I made the right choice. Because what you create in your life, what you create for your other children, what you create for your marriage, what you create for your work environment, for who you are in the world, is so much more powerful when it comes from the top of the ladder than the bottom of the ladder, right? Just think about, I often use like the coffee shop example. If you go into a coffee shop and you're thinking, you woke up thinking about your abortion, and you go to a coffee shop and you're thinking, I made a terrible choice. And you get in line at the coffee shop and your shoulders are hunched over and you're hiding and you're dark and you're gloomy. How are you impacting the rest of your day, and how are you impacting everyone around you? Versus going to the coffee shop, waking up and thinking about your abortion because it's a special day or something reminded you of it. And you're thinking, I made the right choice for me, right? How does that impact how your day moves forward? And how does that impact everything around you? And so you just have to decide, what do I want to do with this experience that I've had? What do I want to start believing about it? And why? Why do I want to believe that? Is that really true? Do I really want to believe that? What would happen if I chose not to believe that? And so really just start questioning and looking for ways to think about it differently. And remember that it's all made up. It's all made up. There's a great documentary. I think it's called Reversing Roe. It's a Netflix movie, and it really talks about how we even got to abortion being a political issue, and that it didn't really start with religion. Religion was used to influence politics. And so to start to go, wait a second, this is all made up. Like, there are people who believe in God and still believe in abortion. There are people who are Republican and still believe in abortion. There are people who are amazing mothers and still believe in abortion. It's all made up. We get to think whatever we want to think. And sometimes our culture makes things up in order to influence us. And then we can choose whether or not to believe those things. So that's a place to start, is to just start questioning all of it. Did I make the wrong choice? Would everyone believe I made the wrong choice? All of it. So that's what I have for you in terms of believing you made the right choice. Morgan, do you want to keep recording, or I feel like I'll just stop it?
Yeah, totally fine. Whatever you want.
Stop the recording for this time, and then I will do some coaching with Morgan if she's up for it. And we have one more week that I've at this point committed to. So if you're watching this and you want to get in on some personal coaching action about your thoughts and your ladder and your life and why you are the example of someone who can't believe whatever she wants to believe, then I'm here for you. Just reach out and we will connect so that we can get you on this call live next week, and I can coach you instead of Morgan, or you and Morgan.
I have some thoughts on making the right choice now, actually.
I love it. We're going to talk about it.
Interesting.
That's fabulous. So yeah. I will end this recording, and Morgan and I are going to have some fun.